Hey guys, what's up? What's going on? Welcome back to probably the most Shananarambles episode of Shananarambles that you're ever going to have. My name is Shananigans. I'm joined by A-Game. Say hello, A-Game.
Hello, A-Game.
That's A-Game. And we're doing a bit of an impromptu episode. We're working under a time restraint because COVID... Impromptu, yep. Because the COVID clock is a counting, and as of midnight tonight, we're not allowed to go anywhere because that's just the way it is in our state at the moment. So...
You wanted to see me one last time.
I wanted to see her one last time. No, I wanted to talk about Resident Evil. So,
The Village.
Specifically number 8, The Village. Because you and I have both been watching it. Mm-hmm. We're both watching the same YouTube group playing it.
Spooky game team.
And both having a lot of fun. Okay, both having a lot of fun. I can't play the game because I am chicken shit. I'm scared. I am a wee little baby man, and I cannot do it.
Me enjoying shenanigans is little, hold my hand.
And that's why...
Can't watch too scary.
If you ever watch the Shananigans YouTube channel, you'll see that A-Game plays most of the scary games because I just cannot.
It's the scariest game we ever played. Even I had to turn the sound off.
Anyway, talking about Resident Evil 8, and it is a bit of a ramble episode because this is very impromptu.
Shenanigans just wants to vent.
Yeah, we saw what was happening,
and we're like,
we got to throw this together quick. We got to get this out. Got to record this before we can't. So, Resident Evil 8 has dropped. Now, just to get people up to where we're up to, the mindset of where we're both up to in our viewing, they have just gone to
the dollhouse.
The Benevento?
Yes.
Benevento? I'm not sure.
Benevento.
Thank you.
The house with the creepy doll person, okay?
And that creeps me out so much.
And the doll person has just stripped us of all our stuff, and that's where we've stopped.
Well, not our stuff, but Ethan's stuff.
Ethan's stuff, yes.
So, that's where we're up to. So, we can't talk about anything beyond that, and we can't... and we're completely spoiler-free.
Beyond that point.
So, really, this is just... if anything, me venting about a couple of things so far that just are not adding up. And
are you going to mention the hand?
Oh, God, the hand. I didn't even think of that.
That's the one thing I wanted to mention.
All right, so where should we... Do we start at the beginning, or...?
I suppose so. I'm kind of forgetting how it went. We went through the village a little bit, into the castle, and then we went back to the village, didn't we?
What?
In the gameplay. You go through
I'm
the village.
talking right back at the start.
Oh, you mean... Oh, with Mia. Oh, okay.
Yeah, okay. So do you remember Resident Evil 7 at all?
Yeah. He went looking for Mia. He encountered those creepy people in that house. The big... Mia in the basement.
Yeah, welcome to the family, son.
Mia attacked him.
You remember Resident Evil 7?
There was Eve, the girl.
Yeah, Grandma.
I don't remember that part.
You don't remember the little girl is Grandma, and Grandma is a big black mold monster? Spoilers for Resident Evil 7.
I remember the mold monster just when they went on the ship.
No, that was Jack.
Anyway, the main thing in the end was he found one vial of cure.
He found 2.
He had one at the end after the big battle to use.
He had 2.
No, after the big battle he had 1 because he used 1 during the battle on the big monster.
You sure you're thinking Resident Evil 7?
Yes.
I remember him having 2, and he had to choose between saving Mia or Zoe, and he chose Mia, and the other one was for himself.
Why would he... No, because he had 1, and remember one of the men in the house, blew up and was this big baddie, and he injected him with it. And that's what killed him. And then he only had 1 to offer a female.
Oh, yeah.
And you could choose Mia or the other girl in the gameplay, but of course, for the canonical story, you're supposed to pick Mia and give her and save her and blah, blah, blah. Okay. And that's where it ended. All right, so 8 opens up with Ethan and Mia, assume are married. If they're not, they have a baby. And, it's, bedtime, put the baby to sleep, have dinner, sit down.
You're being really specific.
That's just fine. It opens up and they're a family.
They're a family.
Family gets torn apart, straight into the horror.
So, gameplay opens up. Everything looks great. Everything looks gorgeous. We start with a child's book. Okay, now I believe the book is foreshadowing and echoing the events that are going to take place in the game.
It's a local legend.
It is a local legend. That's point number one. Point number two is when Mia's making food, she points out it's a local delicacy, and it is something that's not native English. So that would imply that they have moved. And I think it even says they've moved to Europe. Mm-hmm. I can't quite remember. I'm sure they said they moved to Europe.
Consensus is we assume they've moved to Europe, where apparently everyone speaks with an American accent.
Well, that's what I'm getting at. Okay, so we're in Europe, and then all of a sudden he wakes up, derailed out of the truck, whatever's happened, I don't know, enters this village, talks to the villagers, talks to the big bads, like Lady D and Heisenberg and Mother Miranda and the doll, all American. Every single one of them has an American accent. So I'm like, what the hell?
So,
but
we're trying to work out whether that's just shitty makesmanship or it's a clue.
Well, yeah, it's getting tricky for me to explain. Maybe I should start with my theory. My theory is that he is still in Louisiana. Mm-hmm. He is still... I keep wanting to say the Bowers, and I don't think that's right. I don't think that's their surname. He is with the family. Welcome to the family, son. He is in the family now, okay? I believe he is still there. There is so many things in this game that tie it back to Resident Evil 7, and it's doing my head in because the mystery is there, and I'm looking at it, and I'm playing with it, I'm manipulating it, and I'm making connections, but there's no answers. It's me just... who is Pepe Silvia? All right? Pepe Silva, Pennsylvania. Who is Pepe? It is doing my head in a really good way. I'm having a lot of fun connecting it and diving into the lore of this game.
Anyone out there who doesn't know Shananigans, Shananigans is a whiz at predictions.
It's true.
You can get 20 minutes into any movie and he will have already... figured out exactly what's going to happen, exactly who's the bad guy, and it's cool, but for Shenanigans, obviously, it makes things kind of boring. So if you can get something for Shenanigans to watch, where right up until the end, he doesn't know what's going to happen, that is a big win, ladies and gentlemen.
It's true. It's true. It's a talent. What can I say?
It's an annoying talent sometimes.
You watch too much crap in your lifetime, you're going to be able to see the tropes and the themes and be able to call the shots. My point is that's what I think. I still think that he is either connected to Louisiana in some way or is actually in Louisiana. I say that because there is a lot of parallels between this game and the last. And again, this is just a ramble. This is really just theorizing and me venting because I have nothing concrete other than my own imagination to spur this forward. Alright, so we have the four lords. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Heisenberg, Lady D, the doll maker, and the troll.
The troll-looking guy. I don't know his name yet. Okay, and then you have Mother Miranda. So let's say 5 figures. Mm-hmm. How many figures did we have in Resident Evil 7?
I can remember 3.
You can remember 3? Okay.
No, I can remember the lady, the man, the son, and the grandma.
And then Zoe. Zoe technically wasn't...
Oh, of course, she was family. Yes, Zoe.
She technically wasn't the bad one.
She was part of their family.
Yeah,
she was
so
family.
Again, 5 figures. Okay, 5 figures in Resident Evil Village, 5 figures in
2
Resident
boys,
Evil...
3 girls.
Yeah. Okay, then you've got the outcast. Again, I'm just pulling connections here out of my ass. You've got the Duke, the helpful outsider who seems to know a lot about what's going on without giving you too much information, but wants you to help them. Alright, Zoe was the exact same figurehead in Resident Evil 7. So I'm making those connections right away. Okay, and then touching back on the whole Europe-America thing, I don't even think he's in Europe. Like, the whole aesthetic, the castle setting, the village, everything screams European, middle of nowhere, okay? But as we've recently discovered, there is some mechanical stuff going on. There's tractors, there's a bit of industry, there's power leads running around everywhere.
It's not as dilapidated as it first
Correct.
looked.
You are getting hints of, okay, modern civilization that's withdrawn from civilization, if that's a way to put it. Mm-hmm. very similar to that of Resident Evil 7, out in the middle of nowhere, out in the sticks, dilapidated house, but still has electricity, running water, power cables running everywhere, generators, all that. So again, more connections. Okay, and then we've got Chris Redfield. Right now, you and I are looking at an image of Chris Redfield from the cover of Resident Evil 8.
Who that is.
But that's my point right there. He doesn't even look like Chris Redfield. Not the original Chris Redfield, and not the one in Final Fantasy VII. He looks drastically different. Distinctly different. And then what the hell is with the half Chris Redfield, half werewolf lichen dude? And the lichens thing, I don't even know. I'm assuming that's Heisenberg, but still, there is just so much that's going on in this game that I don't have answers to. But I have all these little clues and theories. Another one. Just recently, we saw a beer bottle, and it was Louisiana beer. It had an alligator on it, everything. It was known as a Louisiana beer. It was just near one of the houses. That's another thing.
That picture's tripping me out.
You don't like Chris Redfield?
Well, I've just realised that picture's moving.
Ah.
It's tripping me out.
We've also got... What was the other thing I saw? The black mold and the insects from Resident Evil 7 seem to be echoing again in Resident Evil 8.
You mean with the bugs?
Yeah, specifically the bugs and insects. For the Lady D and her daughters. I can't say her full name, I'm sorry guys, so it's Lady D.
I mean, we could try, but let's just go with Lady D.
So, there's just all these little bits and pieces that...
They're either clues or they're a misdirect.
I don't know, and it's bothering me. The American accents drove me insane at the start because I'm like, he's clearly in Europe. Why has everyone got an American accent? All right, what the hell, Capcom? Get your shit together and cast right. Don't give me this, oh, we tried our best, but just do it. Okay, COVID sucks. We've all worked around it. You could have done just fine.
But now it's bugged you enough that you're thinking, well, maybe it's supposed to be like that.
That's what I'm thinking. There's just too many...
Little coincidences.
That's exactly what it is. There's too many little coincidences that can be pulled and extrapolated back to Resident Evil 7.
So if we get to the end and it has nothing to do with the last one, are you going to be mightily annoyed?
I am convinced. I've had small discussions with a friend of mine via text about this.
Has she seen further than we have?
She has, and she's very good. She has said, spoiler free, I'm not saying nothing.
Good.
Okay.
We like that. That's what we want to hear.
But I made this is just something I picked up on, and I don't think she meant it, but this is something I picked on. I mentioned that one of the werewolves looks a lot like Jack from Resident Evil 7. There is this one werewolf that keeps showing up. I mean, yes, it's just the same asset used. Sorry, couldn't think of the word. Used over and over and over. The werewolves, there's maybe 3 or 4 of them that look different, not including the big one. One of those 3 or 4 looks a lot like Jack from Resident Evil 7. But when I mentioned it, and at this point she was further than me, she goes, who, Heisenberg? And I said, no. And she's like, oh, okay. Now, it could have been a slip of the tongue, could be absolutely nothing. But it was very interesting that was the go-to when I mentioned it. And then looking at Jack, there is similar features to that. Sorry, looking at Heisenberg, there is similar features to that of Jack. So I'm willing to put money on the table right now. I can't bang the table because if I do, microphones. But I will put $200 down saying that Jack will make a reappearance in this game.
Now, if you're wrong, I'm collecting. If you're right, I'm not giving it to you.
Fair enough. Now, I'm not saying it's... Look, my theory could be dead wrong. Dead wrong, okay?
But in case he's right, he said it first.
I'm just saying that Jack making an appearance, I believe he will. Whether it's a flashback or Ethan's hallucinating or God knows what. Okay? That's just my prediction. Jack is going to make a return in some form. What else have we got?
Is Mia dead?
Oh my God, I forgot about that.
Is she dead or is she not?
I don't even think Mia was alive. I think
because she
the time she spent in Louisiana with the family, something's happened to her. I will extrapolate that even further. I think something's happened to Ethan. And as for Rose, I think she is the product of what's happened when those two consummated and had a child. That's why Rose is so important to these new lords.
Okay, so how do they have a child if...
I don't know.
Mia's not alive.
I don't know, but I'm just saying, like, maybe they're mold people. I don't know.
Ah, okay.
I don't know. Maybe they're still trapped in the house and this is all just one big trip for Ethan. One big dream because he's asleep or hallucinating. I don't know. But Mia got shot through the shoulder. Really didn't react much. I also want to point out she doesn't exactly look like herself in the first one. Sorry, as she did in the first one. First one, she had darker features and striked me as a bit more of a European look. In the second one, she's got more of a sort of a I don't know, hometown Americana sort of vibe. Like her eyes were a lot brighter, her hair was a lot lighter, her face structure wasn't quite the same, but I'm going to chalk that up to graphical enhancements. But either way, she didn't look quite the same. She gets shot in the shoulder, doesn't really react. She's just like, oh, what was that? Oh, God,
what was that?
Flailing everywhere.
Because she was all of a sudden being shot more.
She's being pelted, hailed with bullets, and then falls down, but is still alive. You see Chris Redfield look at her, and she's sort of half trying to prop herself up, and he's like, nope, bang, bang, bang. 3 shots, more blood spurts out everywhere. How much blood does this woman have? And then, the start of the game gets dragged off. Chris, what are you doing? Knock him out, take him with us, all that sort of stuff. Grab the baby. I don't know what's going on. Maybe Chris is aware of what was going on. He was trying to save Rose and save Ethan. I don't know. Ethan, I'm not 100% with Ethan on this one. I don't think I really like Ethan in this game.
What?
I don't know. It's just a nagging feeling that I don't like him in this game. Resident Evil 7, I was sort of like, I'm his co-pilot. I'm in the passenger seat with him. And I'm like, dude, whatever you're going through, I'm there with you. It is scary. Let's do this. This game, I'm like, really? That's what... Oh, okay. All right, cool. Let's go along with that then. It's just weird. All right, so I'll keep talking. I'm sorry. I've got a lot to vent.
It's all right.
All right, we've got gore porn with the hands and the amount of holes that are in Ethan at the moment. He's had 2 sickles through the legs, 2 sickles through the hands, lost 2 of his fingers.
No, he lost his pinky and part of his ring finger.
Okay,
he does actually have that nub. You just can't see it.
Okay,
the way
lost
it's bandaged.
Them to a werewolf, a lichen, because I keep getting corrected. They're lichens and not werewolves. All right, the other hand sliced completely down the middle, trying to pull himself off of a wall.
Not trying, he did.
Successfully pulling himself off of a wall. And what's his go-to? Like, the first one, he screams when it happens. The second one, he gets down and he's like, ooh, that hurts. Better put some, goop juice on it. Bloop, bloop, bloop. Ah, there we go. It's all better now. I'm like, what? No. Okay. Suspension of belief. It's a video game. Cool. Whatever. Goes along. I'm still thinking the whole time. I'm like, those sickles went through the back of your calves. As someone who's having trouble walking at the moment with that calf problem, there is no way knowing you are getting around as freely as you are, my dude.
It's lucky they didn't go through the ankles. He would have been hobbled.
True. And, the amount of damage he's taken from hammers and attacks. And
he's had his throat ripped out about 10 times.
But again, that's suspension of belief because it's a video game. Okay, it's just showing you that he's taking damage. I get that. But let's go to another scene. And you know exactly what I'm talking about. Because I call bullshit in the highest degree on this one.
And...
I'll let you do it. You say what happened.
All right, so... the whole time, the people we're playing are all like, don't hurt his right hand. It's the only good limb he's got left. So what did we witness? We witnessed the right hand come completely off. Now, it wasn't cut at the wrist, everyone. It was cut part of the way down the forearm through the jacket.
Mm-hmm.
So what did he do? He picked it up. He lined it up with himself. He lined the jacket up perfectly. He poured his goop juice on it. And not only did the skin fuse back together, but so did the jacket, ladies and gentlemen. And then a few finger twitches and the hand's good to go.
That was the moment I called bullshit. I'm like,
and
no.
Even the people the people that were playing it, they were like, oh, just pour the stuff on it, see if it'll work. And they were like, no, it won't. And then when it did, they were like, okay, all right, that worked. How will that work? We don't know, but let's just continue on.
So if he lost his hand, okay, and he went to reattach it.
I would have been fine with the hand reattaching if it had just been the hand. The fact that the jacket sewed itself back on, that bit I was like, no, no way, not believing it.
See, this is my view on it. If he'd taken his hand and placed it back onto his stump, and the hand magically stitched itself back together, and he's like, whoa, what the... My hand's never done that.
After he poured the goop juice back on?
No goop juice. No goop juice. He just puts it on. Because he's like, oh, my hand, it's meant to be here. It goes
but he lost his hand in the last game, didn't he?
That was his left hand.
But how did he get that one back? Because he got it back.
They stitched it back on.
Oh, they did
the
stitch
family
that
stitched
one.
it back
okay.
on. Anyway, my point is, if he was like, all distraught, like, he's my hand goes here. And for whatever reason, the hand magically stitched itself back together and started working. He's like, whoa, what the hell? That's never happened before. Bang. All right, something happened to him. This is lining up with me. Thank you. The fact that he just pours goop juice on it and it's all better, well, I'm like, well, that's just bullshit. No, I'm out.
I'd like to point out, how do we know the goop juice actually did anything? Maybe it did just fuse.
Okay, maybe it did.
And we're assuming the goop juice did something because he poured it on his hand.
Maybe we did. Maybe it did. But we're working on the assumption of goop juice because that's what was shown. So now we fast forward to Rose, baby's head in a jar. The answer's simple. Get the baby parts, put them all down in front of you, just goop juice all over that. Bang, your baby's good as gold, man. Just off you go. You got goop juice, baby stew. Let's go. So, yeah. The hand and the accent are the two that bother me. Everything else I'm having fun with, and I'm enjoying the speculation. Is it really Cress Redfield? Is he actually a werewolf or something? Whatever, like the image shows. What the hell's going on with the Four Lords? Is there still connections to Louisiana? I don't know.
Will Shananigans survive the dollhouse?
No. We've also got... what was the other thing I just thought of? Oh, it's escaped me now.
You mentioned baby parts and jars. We were talking about hands and goop juice.
The witch.
With the little old lady with the
old
rambling.
Witch. For some reason, I'm thinking Rose.
Yeah, you keep saying that. Why? Yeah. That doesn't... Rose is a baby.
I don't know. It's just, to me, I'm just like... Rose. For some reason, just... Okay, you, old lady, have a really strong connection to Rose for some reason, in my opinion.
To the baby.
To the baby.
How?
I don't know.
How do you deduce that she has a connection to the baby?
I don't know. It's just... how did I come up with that idea? Because she just... Okay, to argue my own point...
Okay.
Everyone seems to be fully aware of who Ethan Winters, not just Ethan Winters... Yeah. And Rose.
Everyone who is not a random village person has addressed him by full name.
Yeah, they know who he is. And I'm like, how? He hasn't introduced himself. If they just called him Ethan because they just happened to hear it, fine. But the first interaction, the first sighting of Heisenberg we get, also he's had a metal rail rod, whatever you call them, right through the torso. So, how's he surviving that one?
Not to mention the metal fingers with the slashing.
Yeah. Anyway, Lady Deathstrike.
And the pig.
Yeah. The what?
And the pig.
Oh, the pigs, yeah.
The pig took a few bites out of him.
My point is, Heisenberg shows up and he goes, the great Ethan Winters. Like, oh my god, how do you know his name? That quickly gets overshadowed by everything else, but that stuck with me. And then the same thing again when he's about to release him. Let's see how good you are, Ethan Winters. I'm like, you know his name. How do you know his name?
So my question that I have is, a supposed Chris Redfield character took this baby, which was meant to be package secured. Despite that little truck accident that we saw, do we assume that Chris always meant to bring the baby to these people? Or was he supposed to take it somewhere like a government facility or something?
Okay. Not knowing the answers, and again, theorizing.
Because you think if he was supposed to bring it here, if it turns out he is actually a werewolf, he did bring the baby to these lords, wouldn't he have just told the lords, this is Rosemary Winters, child of Ethan and Mia, and as soon as some weirdo person turned up looking for the child, you'd assume you're the father?
I don't know. I don't have an answer for that. But it also raises the question again, why is Rose the chosen one? Why is she so special? She's just a child. They could have got a child from anyone in the village.
Well,
why does it have to be Rose?
Well, I mean, we assume that something has been passed down to her genetically, either from both Mia and Ethan, or just from Mia. I mean,
correct.
The past,
feeding credence into my Resident Evil theory.
The past flashbacks specifically said that they were waiting on some test results regarding Mia, and they were about to get them. Sorry, regarding Rose, they were about to receive them when Rose was taken.
Also, what was with Mia at the start? She didn't want to talk about anything to do with Louisiana.
She came across very much of, let's leave that in the past. Let's not talk about it anymore. It happened. Let's not dwell on it. Let's move on.
I mean, yeah, it seems very PTSD, but
as looking at it from like a human point of view, there are a lot of people who that's how they cope with things. It's just leave it in the past, don't dwell on it, completely forget about it, move on. Whereas there are people obviously like Ethan who you move on by processing and becoming comfortable with it. You talk about it, you verbalize it, you talk about it, you become comfortable with it, and then it's not something that's locked away in the back of your mind. It's just, that's my past. This is future. So
I don't know.
There's just two coping mechanisms that were clashing.
I don't know. To me, it seemed odd. It just struck me as odd. I don't have a reason why.
But I mean, if you think about it as well, Mia did also have a bit more trauma than what Ethan did.
Well, she was there 3 years longer than Ethan, if I recall.
So you could understand why him, it's more, it was a thing that took place, quite a lot of horror things that took place over the course of a few days. But for her, it was a few years of nightmare. You could understand why for her it'd be a bit harder to process.
Putting in that light, yeah, it makes sense.
And you think she's now out of there. She's now got Ethan. She's now got a baby. She just wants to forget about it and just be here. And you'd think it would aggravate you if that was your coping mechanism and you had someone constantly saying to you, no, come on, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Like, you would snap. You'd be very snappy, I think. So I think it's a bit justified.
Yeah, I suppose. I didn't really look at it like that. It was just...
Give the game some humanity, Shananigans.
Oh, the game's got a bit of humanity going on. There's a whole religious themes going on through it. It's great.
All hail Mother Miranda. She'll protect us from... Oh, no, she's not protecting us anymore.
No. Well, that was the thing. Most recently, we just learnt that they don't worship her because she's a good person. They worship her because they're scared of her.
Yeah, and
they appease her by offering and sacrificing animals, livestock, people, so that she will let them live.
Yeah, she keeps the monsters away.
And
since the baby has appeared, she's stopped doing that. We're not sure why. Maybe it's just because she's got more important things on her mind. She can't be bothered with controlling the werewolves, or maybe it could be the fact that she wanted the village decimated so that, no one would be poking their noses into their business?
I don't know.
There wouldn't be anyone around for miles. They could just do what they wanted.
I don't know. Just there's too many bits and pieces that don't add up, and there's too many coincidences for me to make connections with to formulate a proper, this is the direction it's going.
This one feels like a much bigger story. This one has a lot of history. You think this village and the people and the castle and its inhabitants, they all track back at least 100 years. Whereas you think in the last one, it was, this family, why? And in the end, we got our answer, the shipwreck and Umbrella just getting too close and just them being infected. It was as simple as that. Whereas in this one, there are so many different moving pieces. It's a much bigger backstory. There's more pieces that are moving.
Well, Umbrella isn't even, at the moment, officially
and we've seen that
confirmed.
symbol.
We've seen the symbol.
We've seen the symbol. But we've seen the symbol on carvings that you would assume are quite old. And that itself is kind of cool.
Correct. I don't know. Look, if we go... I'm going to let you have the closing. I'm going to let you close this out, but...
With what?
Your theory.
I have a theory.
If you have one. All right, so if we take the game's story for what it is, then my theory is that Chris Redfield was good guy trying to do the right thing. Protect Rose, protect Ethan, save the cheerleader, save the world. And Mother Miranda and her crew got involved in some way and stopped it. To bring about their own nefarious reasons and needs for whatever reason. Okay? If what I'm seeing and connecting and all those... I've forgotten the word. It's escaped me.
Oh, no.
What do you call them? You said it before.
Pieces?
Coincidences.
Coincidences.
Thank you. If all these coincidences and little clues and little things I'm seeing are right, then I think this is all in Ethan's head, and I think he's back in Louisiana.
He's either going to wake up at the end of the game strapped down to a table in Louisiana or strapped to a table in a medical facility with Chris leaning over him going, "It's all right now, Ethan, we've got you."
Don't know. For all we know, God, he could still be talking to Jack, like the human Jack, in the lounge room. Like, this might be just one big trip for Ethan that all this stuff has happened, but he's right there. Nothing has happened. I don't know. There's so many possibilities. It's just... Yeah, I just wanted to verbalize and vent it a little bit because, as I said, it's right there. It's right there. I can see things. I can connect things, but I can't get an answer. Anyway, as I said, I'm going to let you close this one out. So what about you, A-Game? What is your theory?
I don't know.
Awesome.
I'm not like you. I don't see all of the moving pieces and try to work out what's happening. I'm just enjoy the ride.
Okay. Well, that's it. As I said, this was probably the most Shananaramble-y episode of Shananarambles we've done.
Shenanigans wanted to ramble, everybody.
I could ramble about a great deal of things.
Oh, he could.
But this was the first time where I've actually came in and said, right, this is what I want to do. Let's quickly do this. And
called me up, said, come over here. I want to ramble. I want to express my theories. I want to talk about this. And I was like, cool, I'll be there.
Yeah. Actually, this almost turned into a full-length episode. Damn. All right. So we're going to wrap this up. Guys, thank you very much for...
Thank you for listening, everybody.
Listening to our Shananarambles, where I get to talk crap and go on and on and about stuff, and A-Game sits there going... Yeah. I don't know. What do you do when you're... I don't know. Anyway, guys, thank you very much for listening. Hopefully
Hope
you
you've enjoyed our theories and our postulations.
And venting. There was a lot of venting.
Hopefully,
if you like what we do, come back for more.
Hopefully there will be a follow-up Shananarambles when the game is finished.
Actually, that could be a good idea.
We could discuss what actually happened, whether Shananigans was happy with the route it took, and any other little, hands sewing themselves back on issues that we had with the whole story.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll be back, ladies and gentlemen.
We'll come back and we'll do
there will be a follow-up. There will be more venti, and woohoo, we were right. Or I'm not paying you $200.
We'll see.
Anyway, everybody.
But guys, if you liked it, go listen to the other stuff. Thank you very much for listening to this one. Also, check us out over on YouTube with Shananigans Gaming, where we do not scary video games.
Sometimes.
Because I'm a big chicken man baby. And
he's a brave boy, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm a big brave boy. No, I'm not.
We do the games we want to play. But thank you for joining us, everybody. Please join us again next time. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. And please have a good one.